Not all money is good money. Just because a person is wealthy does not mean they are successful, because not all wealth is monetary. Wealth includes honor, a good name, a good reputation, a strong family, community, loving relationships, good health, and a peaceful state of mind. These are all forms of wealth that money can't buy. Some people are rich in their bank account but morally bankrupt. Others have full pockets but are inwardly poor. Some have meager resources but are happy, joyous, and rich in community. Others have just enough to get by but are content in their heart because they find value outside of things. It's important to understand that there are laws that govern the universe that God established, and they are always active, no matter the culture, no matter whether you believe or don't believe them. Unfortunately, in this culture, we promote money, success above morality and above good character. Money is the God in the society and not God himself. But anything that is not based upon eternal principles established by the Creator cannot last. It may have its time, it may seem as if it lasts, and for a season it will. For a season it may even prosper, but it will eventually crumble. We've seen this throughout history, the rise and fall of empires, the rise and fall of nations, those built off of brutality, those built off of corruption, failing time and time again. We see this same principle for people, the laws of reaping and sowing, in this case, P. Diddy. Well-known and popular producer, he's had a ton of success in the industry and is behind many popular artists. But he has also garnered a reputation of being exploitative to people, particularly Black artists. Recent allegations created a firestorm, and while many Black people were not rocking with him, there were still those who wanted to believe in his innocence and gave him a fair shot at proving himself before coming to any conclusions. But a recent video released by CNN is damning and basically exposes an abusive and exploitative nature that he has been trying to hide all this time. Unfortunately, the video was quite violent, so I can't show it in its entirety, but you do see him kicking, punching, hitting. He even throws glass at her at one point. He just was completely physically abusive to his ex-girlfriend. And her recent case against him alleged that he used his position of power, him being a boss, him being her boyfriend at the time, to control her and then force her into all kinds of acts, even sexual acts with different men. But the video certainly supports her claims, right? We do know that they settled this case privately, and so it was very much a case of she said versus he said, and we never really fully knew the details. But when this video leaked, it definitely supported her claims. Now, what's next for P. Diddy is yet unknown. He still technically has to go through the legal process and try to argue his innocence. But honestly, y'all, the amount of allegations and evidence coming out against him is overwhelming, and it's just not really looking good. Diddy, in my opinion, follows a long history of exploitative millionaires and billionaires in the country, especially in Black America, going all the way back to slavery, right? When we had Black men and women who used their position to exploit Black people and make money. These are Black slave traders, right? It certainly wasn't a huge percentage, but it doesn't take a ton of people. All it takes is a handful. And this tradition continues, and sadly, we are still seeing these same kind of individuals being exposed. Those who they gain wealth, they gain success, they gain accolades, but unfortunately it is at the expense of controlling, abusing, and manipulating other people. Now, to be clear, exploitation is not unique to the Black community, okay? Obviously in America there is a rich history of abuse and misuse among white America, right? The dominant society, especially among the men. However, white America, they generally protect their own, or at least they have more allowances for their criminality. Right, if you think of Trump, for example, with all the legal challenges and his past and his criminal past, yet he is highly respected and regarded as a legitimate choice for presidency. Like, people love him. But if a Black man had his reputation and was running for office, he just wouldn't have the same leverage. Like, I don't think anybody can deny that. Even if you loved Trump and you support Trump, you have to acknowledge that if a Black man had his reputation and his presentation, it just wouldn't be the same, right? So this is why some of them even joked that Trump was like the first black president, right? Like leaning into that stereotype of criminality. So clearly criminality can happen across every group of people, and it does happen across all groups of people. But in America, black men are generally exposed first. It's just how it goes. And even if you have a whole bunch of white billionaire friends who are doing the same thing, you should not allow that to go to your head, because if things pop off, you're going down first. That they might seem like they get away with it, and it might seem like these people get away with doing things wrong. It might even seem like some of these, some white people in position of power are able to do all these exploitative things wrong and get away with it. But everybody at the end of the day answers to God. Nobody goes unaccountable. So case in point, a good name is more desirable than great riches. Favor is better than silver and gold. I personally would rather live a life that is honorable and reverential towards Christ whom I serve, that gives me eternal peace in my soul. That's so much better than temporary wealth and a bad name that could be taken away at any moment. And we see how temporary this wealth and fame is, right? How quickly it comes and how quickly it fades. Diddy, he's on the hot seat now. Who's next? Such is the legacy of anybody who builds their life upon violence, manipulation, or just dishonest gain. What does it profit a man for him to gain the world but lose his soul? I pray that all of Diddy's victims, those known and unknown, receive the justice and restitution they need. I also pray that Diddy repents and at least gets right with God while he has time. But let this be a sobering lesson to everyone. You reap what you sow. But what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.